Alrighty, greetings everybody. Robin here from Courageous Q. We are going across live to the Busselton, City of Busselton Annual General Meeting within the council. We're going to screen the share. We do have Martine Shepherd, who is going to be putting forward a motion in regards to the wind turbines. So we're going to screen the share and we'll see where we are with it.
Delivers 28 services to the community, broken down into 63 sub-services. Information about those services can be found in the city's service portfolio. Amongst our service delivery, the council has determined 6 key strategic priorities in its council plan, all of which have been progressed and worked on over the past year. These include sport and recreation, rivers and waterways, responsible development and housing, airport services, community safety, and communication and engagement. Having a safe, welcoming, and inclusive community with access to services and facilities to support our well-being is important to our lifestyle. Service highlights include 13,278 people attending our youth centres, 1,145 bushfire inspections, response to 111.
Okay, everybody. So we are here, in case you're just jumping on now, we are here to watch. Hello, YouTube. How you going? Beautiful life. We are here to watch the annual general meeting from the City of Busselton here in Western Australia. The annual general meeting does mean that electors can put forward motions in which the electors vote on, and then in the next meeting, if they do pass, then the councillors themselves, unless they've changed the rules, there is a dismantling of democracy, do discuss and vote on that. So I have just been given a quick call and been notified by Martine Shepherd. Of course, Martine Shepherd is an environmental protection, marine science and coastal zone management specialist, campaign coordinator for Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay, and presenter of Martini's Country and Eco Bites. And so I do understand that Martine is going to be putting forward a motion. She is an elector in the City of Busselton. We do have a few other people, as I understand, that are speaking, and a couple of other things that might come up as well, which might be of interest. Let's just check how they're doing.
Lakes to enable the supply of water to the Dunsborough playing fields. City volunteer firefighters' extraordinary achievements were honoured at the city-hosted annual Emergency Service Volunteer Awards. The council adopted and revised local heritage survey and heritage list to support the protection of our heritage.
Okay, everybody. So they're just going through the formality. They're going to be presenting. The council presents other things as well before they speak to the electors. As I understand it, Miss Megan Lapp, she was here a couple of months ago for the Wind Symposium organised by Martine Shepherd and Edge Radio Australia. We had Senator Malcolm Roberts spoke at that symposium, and also Senator Tyrone Whitten, both from One Nation, a number of other speakers, obviously including Martine, but Megan Lapp, she flew all the way from the US, and in the US, they are a few years ahead of us in Australia in regards to putting a stop to the wind turbines being erected across their coastlines. Not only, do we have the environmental factors, but I think tonight with Martine's motion she's going to put forward, you probably will hear some more information that we do have some problems and lots of data that confirms that offshore wind turbines do interact, disrupt, interrupt communications and all sorts of magical, wonderful technology that our Defence Force uses in the ocean, and also rescue. Let's not forget that people need to be rescued in the ocean, and these turbines do interfere with that. Let's just see how they're going.
With a disability. And following the Marrie Reserve bushfire in Dunsborough, the city initiated the formation of the Marrie Reserve Recovery Team, tasked with guiding the rehabilitation process and protecting the fragile environment during its recovery phase. The city was awarded the Litter Action Award at the Tidy Towns Sustainable Community.
I'm so glad you got a Tidy Town award. Just a quick insert from myself. We didn't have an episode of Rise today. I've been very busy getting everything together for the next issue of The Light Australia. It's very difficult for me to manage my shows when I have lots of deadlines. But I did put up a news report and a new series called Signal Grenade. So please go along to Facebook, X, or Rumble and check that out. It's 4 headlines, no fog, only the truth. And that's a new series I'm starting, audio, because it's easier when I have a lot of deadlines like I do when I've got to do what I have to do with the newspaper. But anyway, let's see what they're doing. They seem to have had a bit of a glitch. Do we have to refresh?
Development of the sustainable policy, which provides a strategic guidance and reinforces the city's commitment to promoting sustainability and climate resilience. We are a growing district, and responsible planning, which retains our unique character,
That's one of those words,
identity,
people.
and lifestyle is important.
Resilience, we all know what that means. Are we all ready for managed retreat? With the bushfires and the floods and the cyclones. Managed retreat, everybody. Don't let that escape your mind.
At 456.5 million. Together, this represents a combined value of 871 million.
Hello,
and is the
Joanne.
highest level of demand across regional WA.
Yeah, we're not streaming to Rumble tonight.
We have over $1.2 billion worth of assets to maintain, including 78 bridges, 57 playgrounds, 154 car parks.
Yeah, Joanne, I didn't have time to set up the Rumble. I got a very quick call from Martine Shepherd and said, "We're going in now." And I said, "All right, I've got lots of things to do, as you always do. It's dinner time and all those things here in Western Australia. But no, let's do this." So I didn't have time to get Rumble up and going. But anyway, you're here, Joanne, my lovely, beautiful, wonderful friend. Hello, Leslie and Northam. I didn't realise that was you. Hello, lovely to have you here. Let's see how they're going.
Being innovative and sustainable planning solutions in the face of extreme demand was recognised through their nomination for Planning Excellence. The final touches to Mitchell Park included a children's play safe with easy accessible soft fall and interactive play equipment, and this completes the revitalisation of the city's centre parkland. The Busselton War Memorial Project was honoured with 2 awards at the Institute for Public Works and Engineering Australasia, WA, Excellence Awards, and Best Public Works Projects under 2 million.
You mean one war memorial that hasn't been vandalised yet? That's good to hear, City of Busselton. Good to hear.
Delivered to district transport networks, including the reconstruction works on the Commonage Road, the widening of the North Jingdong Road, and improvements to Busselton Highway, enhancing community safety and connectivity. We seek to facilitate a vibrant and growing economy with diverse opportunity. Service highlights include 192,072 passengers through the airport, 39,887 stays at the Busselton Jetty Tourist Park, 1,066,484 visitors on the jetty, generation of 68.8 million in economic impact throughout the city-sponsored events, 838 million total tourism spend, and over 232,000 library resources were borrowed by the over 20,000 members.
Are we going to roll in over the 1 million tourist all these numbers, tourism, which, basically Busselton's economy is based on? You're going to talk about the wind turbines and how that affects tourism, let alone the wildlife and the businesses involved in it? No, I don't think so. But anyway, we're here for Martine, and as I do understand it, there's going to be a couple of other wonderful people that are going to be speaking as well. I'm not sure if they're putting motions forward as Martine is, but I do know there are people there that I think we're going to have an interesting evening, everybody. Who knew? Who knew? And I've been saying this for a while when I've been covering all the councils with the DNA contamination. The watching councils could be part of my recent pastimes. I mean, honestly. But it is. Here we go.
Dandy Track is an important regional link for tourism and recreation.
Yes, yes.
The city continued funding support for the Margaret River Busselton Tourism Association,
I think you
maintaining
might
the 15-year successful partnership between the city and MRBTA to provide visitor services and promote the region as a destination of choice for events and unique tourism experiences. The City and Busselton Jetty Inc. held a number of joint strategy sessions to develop a clear strategy for the ongoing preservation of the Busselton Jetty into the future. The council supported the appointment of new managers to the Busselton Jetty Tourist Park on a 2-year contract while it undertakes a strategic view of its future. And finally, under the strategic theme of visionary, collaborative, and accountable leadership, service highlights include a rate base of 25,525, 7,228 customer requests. We received nearly 90,000 calls to customer services, had 1.6 million website page views. We managed 237 leased properties. And we ended the year with a turnover rate of staff of only 12%, which is much lower than the industry norms. Key achievements within our opportunity theme included the council adopted the city's 2024 to 2034 council plan and long-term financial plan, which together set out a strategic direction for the future. These important strategic plans are reviewed regularly to ensure they remain current and appropriate. The city also endorsed a stakeholder advocacy plan and developed a suite of position papers to guide strategic engagement with key partners. These resources are available on the city's website and explain how the city will advocate for key...
Did you engage the people about these offshore wind turbines? No, I think you just had sessions where the proponents talked at the people. My conspiracy, allegedly.
Management findings. At the end of the 24-25 year, we transferred 1 million to the new Sport and Recreational Reserve to help save for new sport and recreational infrastructure, a high community priority. The council also strengthened governance oversight through establishment of an internal audit program. There continued to be a focus through the year on enhancing customer service. The city reviewed its customer service charter and delivered targeted staff training. The city also commenced works to upgrade its customer request management system.
Why did you need customer service training?
The council
all suck.
also adopted a revised community engagement policy and framework in February 2025. The new framework sets out the city's approach to engagement and the roles and responsibilities of both elected members and city officers. And over the year, Your Say campaigns attracted 3,442 engagements, with 374 residents participating in-person workshops, pop-ups, and information sessions.
Your Say campaigns.
In closing,
Your Say.
the 2024-2025 was another successful year. We live in one of the best, I would say, the best regional local government areas, and have a lifestyle that is the envy of many. We work hard to balance the demands to deliver on our vision for the community, which is to be a place where environment, lifestyle, and opportunity thrive.
Opportunity.
I'd like to thank my fellow elected members and the city staff for the delivery of the 2024-25 financial year plan. The annual report, along with the city's council plan.
There we go, everybody. We've got the wonderful Martine Shepherd there in the comments. Keep away if you can. Laughing emoji. As I said, if you're just joining the stream now or jump through the replay, Martine Shepherd is at the meeting right now, the AGM in Busselton, Western Australia. She's an environmental protection, marine science, coastal zone management specialist, campaign manager for Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay, and founder of Martini's Country and Eco Bites. I think we've got some electors up. Here we go.
Phone on, yes, you can, or you can sit if you wish. Sorry, it's very difficult for me to see people because there's a bright light behind you also.
Yeah.
Yes, good luck, Martin.
Good evening, all. My name is Brian O'Connor. I live in Busselton and I'm a ratepayer. It appears to be on.
Yeah. Can you not, is the microphone switched on in the back? Maybe we can turn them up a little.
Will I sit in a bit closer?
Yeah, if you could, thank you very much.
Okay. My question is, as expressed some days ago when I submitted a written version of this, but it's quite simply, why were the saltwater project risks concealed from ratepayers? Let me make a number of explanatory comments. The annual report, which we're talking about, does refer to risks in note 23. It talks about the city's exposure to financial risks and so on, which is very good, but contract risks are not mentioned anywhere. Number two, at last year's electors meeting, we were informed that the project was assessed at a medium risk level.
Can everybody
that
hear
is
just Joanne?
a moderate
Joanne
financial consequence being possible
Anybody
of
else
up to
confirm
$1 million.
audio or not?
Also, the business case identified a risk of cost overruns rated medium. At the electors meeting 2 years ago, we were informed that the corporate risk register contained no risks above a low-level rating. Now, I might just finish by referring to the recent schedule of interim learnings, which I think is an extremely valuable guide to future improvement, and I hope will be integrated into the city's policies and procedures as fully as possible. However, there is a statement in learning number 26 that initial risk identification was comprehensive, and I would say that ought to be questioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for your question. I'll put that to Director Pearson.
Thank you for your question. In terms of the financial report, as you point out, note 23 does talk to risk, but it's narrow in that it talks to specifically financial risks associated with interest rate risk, credit risk, liquidity risk, and that's as per the standards and requirements for the financial report.
Hi, Sean. Thank you very much. It's definitely a warm one. Still a warm one up here in the ye olde bush where I am. My poor little guinea pigs have been giving them frozen bottles all day. Poor little loves. They unfreeze themselves, within an hour and a half. It's magic. global boiling, we're all going to die in our sweat, right? No, I think it's called summer, right? I think it's called summer. But anyway, yes, definitely a warm one. Last night was terrible to sleep, absolutely terrible. Plus the full moon and, nearly a full moon. I don't know, but it was very bright outside. But anyway, there we go. Let's see what they're up to.
Thank you. Are there any further questions on the annual report, including the financial report?
The annual report's always fun, everybody. If you actually spend some time looking at it for your
Okay.
local council, you'll
Being no
see that they
questions,
tell porkies.
I'll
I've
now
pulled
move
them up
on
a few
to
times
item
in my
6
council.
of the agenda, which is the receipt of the 2024-2025 annual report, including the 2024-25 financial report. Do I have a mover for the motion that the City of Busselton 2024 to 2025 annual report, including the 2024
Has anybody been
to
watching
2025
the
financial
council
report be
meetings in
received
Port Hedland with the
by the
3
electors?
commissioners?
Do I have a,
It's always very interesting to watch their
I have
meetings.
a mover?
What about a shaker?
Thank you, Julie. Seconded.
Need a mover and a
Thank
shaker.
you, Tom. Appreciate that. All those in favour?
Pick a ball.
4, 5. And those against?
Joanne.
Carried.
Nah,
Thank you.
go for it. Keep going for it, love. I've got to go and watch a
Item
match.
7 is other general business. We've received some pre-registered questions which were received by the city prior to the meeting, and I'll invite those electors to come forward. Please
Nick,
come to the
really?
lectern, state your name and the suburb,
Hello,
and then
Irish
ask
Paul.
your
We are in
question.
Australia.
And first off, we have Ms. Walsh.
What's Miss Walsh? We are in Busselton, Western Australia. Irish Paul, thank you for joining us on YouTube. This is a very important meeting. I don't know if this lady's not part of
Jill Walsh,
why we're here, but
Busselton.
anyway.
I might need to rephrase, even though I submitted the questions, I might need to just rephrase them slightly. So the first one stands the same. In relation to the saltwater interim report, why wasn't a simple executive summary attached dating the most commonly asked questions by ratepayers? In particular, how much has been spent in total so far and what are the projected costs to complete the build?
Thank you. I'll put that to Ms. Pearson.
You know what I'm hearing so far from the 2 speakers we've had so far, 2 electors we've had so far, and Irish Paul and anybody else joining us on YouTube. Yes, we are in Western Australia, the city of Busselton. We're on the west coast of Australia, funny that, and down the south, and a little knobbly bit at the end. Very important area for the world when you're talking environmentally, but it's been very interesting, just the 2 electors asking questions at the start of the meeting here, not directly related to why we are here watching this stream tonight. But I think it goes to show that there's a lot of people in Busselton that are very interested in what's going on in their city, and I think it's fantabulous. Yes, it's a word, I coined it, to see people engaging in the last options of democracy that we have, because I'm writing an article about this at the moment. We have a dismantling of democracy before our very eyes, and we, of course, across all of the 5 Iron Nations and the global governments. I mean, this is absolutely clear, but they're really putting the pressure now on local governments within Australia, and that's your councils. And there's all sorts of tricks that they're getting up to at the moment. Of course, in New South Wales, starting this year, if the public want to speak, they have to do it separate to the meeting. We've had the watchers going out amongst the WA councils, monitoring how the councillors conduct themselves, and they're being educated or re-educated, so to speak. Lots of different things happening with our local councils. So it's good to see people are engaging. We have another lady here who is engaging, and let's get back to it.
Question is that part of the funding for the stage 3 dredging was a grant by the state government. And in my experience of having worked with the state government, if money's not spent, it needs to be returned. And so the project was supposed to go ahead in autumn, summer 2025, and it didn't. What happened to those funds?
Okay, so the city's intention is to retain the current allocation budget, grant. And
What
grant
happened to
funds
the
complete the project
funds?
when possible. This is approximately.
Sorry, I'm struggling. You're talking very fast and I can't hear you.
Sorry, apologies. The city's intention is to retain the current allocated budget and grant funds to complete the project when possible. Note this is approximately $950,000 city funds and approximately $410,000 grant funds. So there is a process to continue retaining the grant.
And
funds.
where is that
They've already
money
been
sitting?
carried
What
over
interest
once
do you get on it while
They were
you're
carried
keeping
over.
it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have questions from Mr. Anderson.
Hi, Belinda. How are you? Nice to see you here, my love.
Sorry, Mr. Anderson's hearing impaired and he's asked me to sit and help him with the hearing of this.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you, you're a gentleman.
Look at these good citizens. Get it in there.
Stuart Anderson, living in Yayala.
Good on them.
Just got a couple of quick questions. I don't know how many I can ask. I'm asking about the river. Firstly, why doesn't the council use methods to eliminate balloon geology, like floating solar power systems, UV systems? And two, why doesn't the council engage a private environmental consulting firm on what can be done to eliminate the balloon algae?
Fantastic question. Yes.
Mr. Darby?
I've got
Hi,
some
Yvonne.
slightly different questions that you provided, but I think I can correct myself. Why doesn't the council use known methods to eliminate blue-green algae, floating solar-powered UV systems? These systems are one of the technologies that will be investigated under the subsurface aeration trial.
We're still investigating this, are we? Look what happened in South
That particular
Australia.
question, yeah.
What about engaging an consulting firm?
Right. Sorry. In response to that question, the city regularly procures environmental consulting services in the delivery of its waterway management programs and in seeking additional advice and planning. Additionally, through the VAST task force, the city receives technical support from DWAR,
Thank you for
officers
joining
from
us, Nick.
DWAR Aquatic Science Branch, who are, considered experts in the field, specialising and applying scientific understanding to the management of the natural waterway system.
Stop it. Where did you get
Sorry,
that
who was a
from?
consulting firm? I didn't hear that. You said you had a consulting firm?
We do engage various different environmental consulting firms.
Can I ask what the firm is? What's the name of the firm?
You can, and I'll have to get back to you on that because we have several.
Oh, take it on
I'll have
notice.
that in
Take it on notice,
So
love.
you don't actually have one particular consulting firm?
Oh, we have several,
Several.
but I just can't remember all their different names.
Because I'd like
Take
to
that on
suggest, I would
notice.
like to suggest that you take on Paces Aqua. Both the directors have environment qualifications. They have PhD in biological science, and they would have processes that you can use to eliminate the algae.
Thank you.
The other question I want to ask is about the Performing Arts Centre. I'll cut them down to two questions. As the Performing Arts Centre is costing a lot of money.
Sorry, could I will also ask you if you can just speak a little bit slower and clearer because I'm struggling to understand. Thank you.
Say that again.
If you could speak a bit slower as well, then everyone can hear. Thank you.
I'm excited about getting my questions in.
Maybe just move the microphone across a bit.
Okay. My next question, I've cut the questions down because I heard I only can ask two questions.
No, I didn't say there was any limit.
Okay.
You can keep going.
Well, okay, I've gone on to the Performing Arts Centre now. How is the council going to pay for the debt of the Performing Arts Centre over the next 5 years?
Director Pearson?
So we'll continue to factor the borrowing costs into the city's long-term financial planning and borrowing, budget. Obviously, the 26.5 million in borrowings has already been factored into our planning. The additional 3.5 million will be factored in as part of the future planning and budgeting.
Okay. The next question is, can consideration be taken on stopping construction work on the project and keeping the site as a building in process being completed at a later date, giving relief to ratepayers in their rates?
Sorry, Ms. CEO, do you wish to? Sorry, I'm still struggling. If you could try and speak a
You
little
want me to ask
slower.
it- you want me to ask it again?
If you could, thank you.
Yeah. Consideration of stopping all construction work on the project and keeping the site as a building in process being completed at a later date, giving relief to ratepayers in their rates.
Okay, thank you. Mr. CEO?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I did give that some consideration before we put the report to the council about progressing, taking control of the site and progressing to fund the additional work. The judgment was that the costs that had already been expended weren't going to save the ratepayers anything because that's already been done. So the additional cost, which is being funded, was part funded by the reserve fund
All
and
right,
part
everybody.
by debt. That the best option was to progress with the project, get it finished and get it utilised by the community.
Thank you.
I don't
I know
think
the next
people
question is, can we start up a sinking fund to add money on a stage progress to complete the building
I
at a
don't
later
think the
date?
people understand the people.
Ms.
And now I
Pearson,
sound
wish
like
to-
Julie Inman Grant.
So
The
the question was
Australians.
start up a sinking fund
Uh,
to add money.
I don't think people understand just, I don't want to use the word important, just the influence, the control, the information that is received, amalgamated and passed down by the CEOs of councils. We elect our councillors, right? And we can have a discussion about that. But I don't think, well, it's not. We don't learn unless you take the time yourself to learn about what is the job description, what is the role of the CEO of the council. I mean, when we come down to trying to maintain that level of democracy, perceived democracy that we have as being electors within our councils, what role, what job description the CEOs have. I really don't want to have to do a whole thing about CEOs. I mean, it's outstanding. Shall we put a positive spin on it? Outstanding that when we go to school, they don't teach us about the CEOs of councils.
Evening, Mayor Cronin, Dr. Hunt, city officers, councillors and members of the public. Thank you for the opportunity to ask two short questions tonight, both of which are about the Lower Vass River. First question is, has a contract been finalised between the City of Busselton and the BCP Group, which won the tender in January 2025 for Stage 3 sediment removal from the Lower Vass River? The reason I ask is the last time I asked this at the Waterways Management Committee, the answer was no, a contract had not yet been drawn up, although the company had won the tender.
Look at these people go, loving the environment, getting out there.
As
Go
we
Busselton
previously
people.
answered to that question, the council endorsed the outcome of the tender submission and accepted the tender from Busselton Civil Pty Limited on the basis of direct excavation methodology. Water levels in the river are delaying the work start date. Until the work start date is fixed, the city is unable to execute the contract. To enable preparatory works, the city has engaged a contractor separately to complete planning works, documentation and methodology refinement.
So there is a written contract in place now, is what you're saying?
Say again, sorry?
There is a written contract now
No,
in place?
No, still no written contract.
Well, how can work start without a contract?
Until we know the start date and the methodology is finalised.
Okay, thank you. Second question was the recent fish kill at the Busselton Highway Bridge over the Lower Vass River adjacent to the council chambers due to low dissolved oxygen levels in the water, secondary to decomposition of the severe algal or cyanobacterial bloom in that section of
Oh,
the
Nick,
river
me
at
too.
that time.
Algal bloom. They're on it.
Spell it?
They're on
Oh,
it.
that's a good
Algal
question.
bloom. Look what happened in
Department of
South
Water and
Australia,
Environment and
everybody.
Regulation staff responded to the dead fish in the Lower Bass River on Monday, the 19th of January, and a media release providing information on this was published on the 23rd of January. Some relevant points from the media release. The cause of the fish death is still unknown. However, water quality loggers in the river showed low dissolved oxygen for 2 days prior, which may have contributed. Low oxygen events are known to cause a known cause of fish kills in waterways, particularly during warmer months, and in systems experiencing elevated nutrient levels or algal growth.
Did DEWA offer any explanation of why the dissolved oxygen levels in the water were so low?
No, and I'd have to ask you to ask DEWA on that particular occasion.
I'd also appreciate it if you asked
No.
DEWA what the cyanobacterial levels were in the water at that time compared to the National Health and Medical Research Council limits for cyanobacteria.
No, I can ask them that. That's their responsibility to provide.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have a question from Mr. Shipley. Please state your name and where you're from. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. My name is Neil Shipley and from Geograph. This question is not on par with the rather extensive questions previously asked. However, it is important to the residents of Geograph, Port Geograph, and also to one of the small businesses in the area. In a nutshell, there is a coffee van at the end of Freycinet Drive, Thursdays through to Sundays. It's located at the very end of the car park in the thoroughway throughway there, adjacent to the toilet block. Next to the coffee van is a small triangle of supposed garden bed. There's a tree and a rock in it and some leftover wood chips. The vendors of that van wish to put a couple of small tables and some chairs in that area for people to sit, particularly elderly people, while they're waiting for their coffee and snacks. And they have been refused this by council. My question to council is, why? Thank you.
Ms. Palmer.
Thank you. I'm familiar with that trading site, and it's apparently been doing very well and being well received by the community down there. Also familiar with the surroundings of that site as well. This is a common request that we get through from food traders that would like to put tables and chairs out throughout the city where we have these arrangements in place. At the moment, the commercial hire site permits don't allow for additional furniture to be arranged outside of the hired area from the council. And the difficulty with allowing those is in very busy areas, they become a conflict or cause congestion in the surroundings. So for the sake of parity, we apply the same rules for all commercial hire sites. Also, near this particular site, there is a picnic bench and barbecue area that's quite close, where people could sit and enjoy what they purchase.
Thank you.
I respond to that answer. Firstly, there is no high traffic area there, right? It's quite an isolated spot, although there are quite a lot of visitors and local residents use the area. Not that particular through there, as there is a footpath running alongside the rock wall, which most people who aren't directly involved in ordering coffee and snacks would use. Secondly, I don't agree with the fact that a parity statement, exceptions can be made. I've worked in local council before and I've come across a number of exceptions. One of the exceptions actually is in the area of that coffee van, which is currently parked, or when they are there, is parked in an access way. So that in itself is an exemption. Secondly, or thirdly, the area involved is basically, as I understand it, has been designated a garden bed. It is in no shape or form a garden bed. It is just a piece of dirt in a triangular shape. It is completely out of the way of any other area where people might be walking, and so I would say that in terms of obstruction, there would be none whatsoever. My fourth point is that you referred to the barbecue area, shade area, which is in that area a little further along, adjacent to the parkland. I walk down there 6 or 7 days every week in the morning. That area is not properly maintained. It is quite often dirty. The benches are quite often dirty and the barbecue is dirty. So apart from being an unattractive place to sit and have a coffee and a drink, it is also removed from the actual immediate vicinity of the coffee van.
Mr. Sibley, Shipley, we have, as it's question time, I appreciate you want to get your point across. We actually have a community access session where you can come and talk to council for 5 minutes on the issue, but you have raised it now and councillors are aware of your plight.
Okay.
So I will stop you there if you don't mind, but it's only because we're looking at direct questions of the council of the city.
All right. So my final point being the fact that council is involved in attempting to provide incentives and to support local business. This is one instance where a minor variation to the council regulations would go a long way in assisting the local residents in that particular area and visitors also.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Appreciate
for your
question.
attention.
Thank you, Mr. And next we have a question from Mr. Sims. Good evening, Mr. Sims.
Keith Sims, Busselton. Good evening, councillor, CEO and staff. Might be a surprise, but I'm going to ask about saltwater. Mayor Cronin, you advised that there were over 700 bookings for saltwater. Can you please break those down into groups, convention centre, theatre, breakout rooms, etc., and advise the number per group and the total income to the city?
Thank you. Put that to Director Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. Sims, for sending this one in before the meeting tonight. Obviously, we have to pull that information off of our system. Firstly, just to clarify, 700 bookings, it was 700 event days, not individual bookings. So a booking can be over several days, and we can have multiple bookings running across the venue simultaneously at any one time. So our figure now is 975 total event days registered in our system. And excuse me reading, but these are the event days per type of activity or booking. So art exhibitions, 606 event days, performing arts, 118 event days, conferences, 80 event days, festivals, 71 event days, community events, 41 event days, internal bookings, 36 event days, award ceremonies, 14 event days, meetings, 4 event days, and functions, 3 event days.
So just to clarify, because I couldn't add up that quick, is the 700 bookings, and
Everybody, I just wanted to make a comment on the gentleman that was speaking before. This gentleman asking about the coffee space, and he was allowed to make further comment after the councillors had answered And then the mayor said we do have, paraphrasing, community consultation times where you can speak. Obviously, and it's very clear now because I've been watching the councils and I know what they're up to with the inspectors going along, particularly in the West Australian councils. The inspectors go along, sit in the meetings, and then they advise the councillors after the fact about how they should be conducting their business, because my conspiracy allegedly what has been happening with the DNA contamination and the burgeoning movement in regards to that. You can see here in Busselton that they haven't been instructed like the other councils have been around Western Australia and other councils in Australia, because this gentleman, not this one, the one before about the coffee, was allowed to continue speaking to his question. Usually in question time, councillors will stop you and say, this is not a deputation, this is question time only. We've answered your question, that's it. So I would suggest that the City of Busselton Council has not had, or who knows, maybe they've had people there watching them, but they haven't been given the clear instructions that other councils around Western Australia have been given in regards to how they conduct their meetings. Because from my experience, reporting on all the councils across Australia for well over 12 months now, this is unusual, very unusual, that somebody is allowed to continue speaking after the council has provided an answer to a question in question time. So which is surprising, because Busselton Council is, I mean, the last AGM was a rip. Anyway, I just had to put that in there because, you know, I spend my free time watching councils. Hello, Jane. How many councils have been taken over by large government? Is that a rhetorical question? Marilyn, great. Ask about the wind farm now. No, I know. They're still in question time. We're going to be waiting for motions put forward by the electors. And again, we still have the same gentleman there sitting there. Let's see what they're doing.
Out of 9. So please.
Yeah, but it was
that's my
addressed to
answer.
council.
Thank you.
And you said the community
Rebecca.
told you what to do.
Conversation.
Thank you.
This is very unusual for councils. He's getting around.
Are there any? Thank you.
Oh, is he, Simon?
Thank you, Mr. Sims, for your question. Are there any other questions?
Take it on notice.
Please, Ms. Shackleton, come forward.
Do we have another environment?
Michelle Shackleton of Abbey. I appear before you today because there is a growing disconnect between the financial reality of this council and the financial reality of the community who are funding it. In July 2025, this council voted to accept a 3.5% increase in councillor sitting fees and allowances. While you may argue that this was an independent SAT award, it was your choice to adopt the maximum of that range for yourselves. This decision added roughly $18,400 to the city's annual bill, bringing the total cost of just 9 elected members to nearly $500,000 per year. Contrast that with what you ask of us. You imposed a 7% general hike for rates and a staggering 22.8% hike on holiday homeowners. These costs don't stop at the property owners. They flow directly into the rent paid by local families and the leases paid by our small business owners. While the community is being forced to tighten its belt, this council has shown zero evidence of reining in its own discretionary spending.
Oh, good on you, love.
January to March quarter of 2025, the city spent $13,500 on catering, and you don't even know how it was spent.
Muffins.
We see millions being diverted to the saltwater overspend, and including the reserves that ratepayers have funded over many years, but not one cut, not one review in relation to the corporate perks, catering or the open fridge culture in this building.
Open fridge
It is
culture.
time for this council to lead by example and not just by expense. I want to put forward a motion before the electors of the City of Busselton. Number one, that the City commissions an independent audit into the discretionary corporate expenditure, specifically targeting civic hospitality, council catering, and internal food and beverage budgets for elected members and staff, executive staff. Number two, that they implement a parity policy that mandates any future increase in council remuneration must be offset by a verified equivalent dollar-for-dollar reduction in the city's discretionary hospitality and catering budgets. And thirdly, publish a hospitality register on the city's website, updated quarterly, detailing every dollar spent on catering and events, ensuring the transparency that we ratepayers deserve.
Yep.
Can I have a seconder? Thank you. Third.
Do I have a seconder for that? Sure, thank you. Do we need to put that on the screen?
Yep, go this lady. Yep, good on her.
Ms Shackleton, I might just get you to repeat particularly point 1 to make sure that we've captured that correctly, please.
Open fridge
Commission
policy.
an independent audit into the discretionary corporate expenditure, specifically targeting civic hospitality, council catering, and internal food and beverage budgets for elected members and executive staff.
Okay, I'm just going to repeat that back to make sure that we have it correct. That the City commission an independent audit into discretionary corporate expenditure and spend specifically targeting, sorry, reading my shorthand, specifically targeting council catering,
Civic hospitality,
city hospitality, council catering, and internal food and beverage for council and executive. Yep. And then number 2, implement a parity policy that any further increase in council remuneration must be offset by equivalent reduction. Was that
dollar for dollar reduction
dollar for dollar reduction?
in the city's discretionary
BYO, mate.
hospitality and catering
BYO.
budgets.
Okay. And catering budgets. And number 3, publish a hospitality register identifying
On the city's
effectively.
website,
Yep.
updated quarterly.
Well, these
detailing
people are in it
dollars
for the
spent
lunches,
on
aren't they?
catering and events, ensuring the transparency that ratepayers deserve.
Okay. I think we've got that captured. Thank you.
Thank
Why,
you.
very
why
much.
is
Is
it
there
such
any
a big ask? Like
opposition
it's
to
never
that?
been asked before. Like it's not a thing.
There
I
is
mean, this
opposition.
is ridiculous.
Therefore, all those in favour,
What was it, over
motion
$13,000 on
put
muffins?
forward to the
From-
council. Thank you. Thank you.
Is that the number? I'm just saying muffins, but
Please
it
come
may as well
forward.
be muffins.
State your name, thank you. Please come forward, state your name.
Here we
Where
go.
you're from.
Here's Martine.
Hello, my name is Martine Shepherd. I'm from Dunsborough. And I'm also the campaign coordinator for Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay, which has a community of over 6,500 people. We have brought already to council a special electors meeting in April of 2024. And today, not only am I putting forward a discussion, I have some paperwork that I'd like to give to some of the councillors, if that's okay, so they know and understand what I'm talking on. Is that right?
Sure. Maybe.
Go, Martine. Martine is a environmental protection, marine science and coastal zone management specialist, campaign coordinator for Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay and founder of Martini's Country and Eco Bites.
I'm here tonight to talk of something that's of the most utmost seriousness. For the last 2 years, we have been stonewalled and had zero answers about the offshore wind turbine. It's going ahead. We're right on the precipice of the feasibility licenses being accepted by 2 foreign corporations with 3 projects going ahead. The motion I'm putting forward is about radar interference and what that poses as a risk to this entire community. So not only is it talking about an issue of national defence, but it's also talking about the impact on navigation. If you'd like to look at the second page, you'll see here, these are actually from the Department of Defence in the USA, the top illustration. Sorry that I can't hand them out to the community here behind me, my apologies. And at the bottom, you'll see that's a navigation radar that has scatter that sees that these shipping vessels can no longer navigate in waters where there's offshore wind turbines because of the interference from the wind turbines themselves. This poses a really serious risk because you have an airport here. You have 192,000 people going through there, FIFO workers that were flying right over the top, me being one of them. So the thing is, today I'm putting forward a motion for the City of Busselton on behalf of its electors, residents and ratepayers, send the following correspondence to all of the following ministers, shadow ministers and individuals. Sorry, I had to modify that because there is one person that's not a minister. There's a commissioner at the bottom. Within 14 calendar days to write to these people on behalf of your electors, because we have deep concerns for our safety, national security and a direct threat to our lives because of evidence of radar interference from the proposed offshore wind turbines in Geograph Bay. We would like your official response from all of the following individuals to our community, to knowing we are being put at risk for these foreign infrastructure in our oceans. And the top one here I've had to write.
Sorry, can you just start? There's somebody recording, and I think I clearly said no recording. No? All right, sorry. Please carry on.
Thank you. Darren Flem, who is the Fire and Emergency Services Commissioner, if you don't comprehend that radar is vital to fire response, especially from the air. What you also need to know is that from all the experts that I have spoken to all across the world over the last 2 years, it's become evident now that all precautionary principles have been thrown out the window. I today spoke to the Department of Defence and they're very intrigued that there has not been eyes over this at any point. I will be calling back to them in a number of days in the response to what happens today. But what I would like to say is that emergency response is something that affects every single person within the city of Busselton. We know that. And when it comes to fire response, having good communications and absolute pinpoint radar is essential in that process. Without that, we cannot save lives. And putting lives at risk for offshore infrastructure like this is unacceptable. I feel it's essential that this matter needs to be addressed once and for all because at no point has this community ever been consulted. When we had our special electors meeting, it was passed unanimously that we are against offshore wind turbines here in Busselton, in the city of Busselton, and those people that attended, which of where I think there was about 200 people that attended that meeting. In this, it says here on the 13th, it comes from the fact that 13 offshore wind turbine projects in Sweden in 2024 were cancelled. This is the evidence here. You guys will have this. The coastline was not protected from any invading forces because they realised it caused such radar interference that their coastline was no longer safe. That might be something that seems quite hysterical, but not really when you see that radar interference is about safety in all areas, especially on the ocean and in the air. If we're doing marine rescues, how are we supposed to do that? Not only has Sweden cancelled 13 offshore wind projects, but so has the US. The Department of War in the US has now halted offshore wind processes so it can fully investigate the level of impact. And they know now, which is what you have before you. So I'd like to put this forward that the council acts on behalf of the people to protect them, to ensure the services that we require in emergency and fire response in particular can go forward with safety to the following people, which is Darren Flem from the Fire and Emergency Services Commissioner, the Federal Defence Minister, Mr Richard Marles, Federal Shadow Minister, Mr Angus Taylor, the Civil Aviation Safety Authority, Department of Defence, Public Consumer Services, and I got the email address from the Department of Defence today because they actually don't have anyone to deal with these things. How disappointing is that? ANSA, who is the Marine Safety Authority, the Minister of Defence Emergency Service of the state, Paul Papalia, State Shadow Minister for Defence and Industry, AUKUS, Miss Libby Mettam, Minister of Mines and Petroleum, David Michaels, who is heavily involved in this with all the FIFO workers flying in and out of this local airport, and the US Consular. Now, the US Consular might seem strange, but that was the Department of Defence actually recommending that they'd be advised because they're already aware of this issue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So the motion in front of us, I believe, is for the City of Busselton, on behalf of its electors, residents and ratepayers, send the following correspondent to all the following ministers, shadow ministers, and the other person you mentioned, and write the following to the minister's name on behalf of the electors, etc. And then these few pages, that includes Darren Fem, Fire and Emergency Services, Federal Defence Minister, Richard Marles.
The people I just named.
Okay. Sure, Mr. CEO's got a question.
Just a couple of procedural issues, if I can. You're actually asking this meeting to resolve something and have because that decision then has to go to the council. And
what I'm asking for is the council to put forward, I've put forward the motion for the council to make a decision on behalf of its electors, correct?
That's fine, but you've got a clause in there that says that the City of Busselton, on behalf of its electors, residents and ratepayers, send the following correspondence to all of the following ministers within 14 calendar days. I can't execute that.
Why not?
Well, because the motion has to go to the council. I haven't got a council.
Well, I've just told you we have a feasibility licence. It's about to be signed. So that if that goes ahead and we know that this is something that's on the table, isn't that something worth protecting?
I'm not arguing whether it's worth protecting. I'm telling you about the procedure to achieve what you want. If you don't want to take my advice, that's fine.
It's not about taking the advice. What I'm asking is within 14 calendar days, is it not possible to draft up this letter?
Drafting the letter is not the issue. I need a council resolution to execute that.
Can that not be done today?
No.
Why not?
There needs to be agenda offset recommendations. We have to.
Of such importance.
We need to make informed decisions.
So are we allowed to have someone to second the motion tonight?
Yeah. Is there a seconder? Yeah. There is a seconder. You wish to make an amendment to the motion? Yes. Sure. Please come forward.
My name is Narelle Hopkins. I am from Geograph. I second Martine's motion, and I'd just like to add that after getting this information, I'd really ask the Busselton CEO, the Mayor and the councillors to be asking the airlines that are using the airport, Virgin, Qantas, Jetstar and Alliance, and also the mining companies, Rio, BHP and FMG, to conduct risk assessments on the safety around this potential radio interference. I'd also ask that the City of Busselton CEO, Mayor and the councillors do their own assessment into the public safety, security and the potential loss of revenue should these flights be affected. That is my second and add to that motion.
Quite a comprehensive. You don't have this electronically? No.
I can email it to somebody.
Ms. CEO, would you?
Well, the information would be useful because I can't work how to take this forward because you've given no formal notice beforehand. We're taking this on the fly. That's for the council is pretty risky in terms of validating things. It's not about not wanting to pursue what you're
This is
after.
a
but
procedural.
I can't execute it in the manner that you're
Yes,
asking.
you can.
So,
Extend the date, is that what you're talking about? To extend the date so you can do your own investigation?
No, because they have.
It's more about the 14 days. Because if you take the 14 days out, then it's up to the council to decide what assessment and what analysis they need to do.
So can we take the 14 days out and say in a timely manner because you've been notified, that it's pressing because of the feasibility?
yeah, I don't believe these windmills are going in for a few years. So
Wind turbines.
wind turbines, are going in for a number of years. And it hasn't been approved yet. I'm just saying the 14 days, it's not an urgent matter, I believe.
Oh, make amendment.
Because the feasibility license is due to be signed this week.
And this is about public safety.
All right. I'm sure that'll be covered in this assessment, but that's fine. A question? Sure.
Thank you.
Kaya,
Kaya.
my name's Mason Jones. I don't identify from a city, I identify from the Widandi country. I come forward before the council today, behalf of these wind farms that are going ahead. I see the council, they acknowledge the Widandi people. You look on the website, you acknowledge a lot of our Dreamtime stories, our culture. Where these windmills, as you said, these wind farms, there's a big difference in windmills and wind farms. One's clean and one's not.
I apologise for getting that wrong. Sorry.
We've got several Dreamtime stories in our Geograph Bay here. So one of them is Mamang Kep. So that's the story of the Wales Path. Right where these wind farms want to go and be built, it is actually right above where this story lies, the Great Seagrass Patch. So in that story, the whales migrate and come past back through to return home. And that home is Geograph Bay, because in our stories, we believe the whales come from the land, and because they were scared and chased into the ocean, that's how they become to live in the ocean. And on their returning home, they would know that they were returning home because of that seagrass patch. So you wipe out that seagrass patch, you're wiping out my culture, you're allowing foreign nationals to control this water and wipe out my culture. My motion is that I want the Aboriginal corporations based in Busselton to be held accountable because these cultural committees have allowed this to happen. I also believe the City of Busselton has allowed this to happen. I am in the months, a High Court lodgement at the moment with it because I've got several shires, councils, organisations all in the firing line, all because of greed. So I'm quite disappointed about that, but I want the City of Busselton to voice against the wind farms. I don't want you to accept it as a renewable energy for Busselton, the Geograph region. It is not, because if you accept it and allow this to go ahead without no opposition, you might as well take down that Aboriginal flag because you do not preserve our culture. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jones. Was that in? Thank you, please. You were just supporting the motion, is that correct? He was just supporting the motion, so. We recorded it.
I'm trying to work out how we can do what you're seeking to do in the motion we have before us. No, this is not a testimony. This forum isn't about testimony. It's not a hearing like a government hearing. If you let us deal with the first, just a moment, just a minute.
Sorry, please.
Just a minute. I'm trying to help you here. Let's suggest, Mr. Mayor, you deal with that first motion, and then you can add a second motion along the lines that is being suggested.
Okay, thank you. So we'll stick with the first motion now. I had a seconder for that. Is there opposition? Being no opposition, I'll put that motion forward. Thank you. And then, I'm sorry? Well, there wasn't anything on the screens.
Yeah, that is just the screen. The live stream, I can confirm, is still recording. That's just the screens.
May I ask a question, please?
Councillor Ryan.
In light of the impending urgency of this motion, could we not have a special council meeting to deal with this singular item?
I still believe it needs to go front to council, but if you can get 3 signatures, then you can put forward.
Happy to do it.
Council. Thank you. Okay. So I'll now put Mr. Mason Jones.
Ladies' motion. We certainly put it.
Oh, I said no, there was no opposition, so.
You need to explain to the audience that you've just.
Okay, I've just adopted that motion to go before council. Thank you. Mr. Jones. We need, the point is, if we're putting motions forward, it needs to be written down. Otherwise, you'll leave and we'll just, so. Except we need it confirmed by the electors.
Would you like to come forward and read out your proposal again, please? And we'll try and capture it.
If you could just do that slowly, so allowing someone to be able to type.
Kaya, my name's Mason Jones. I don't identify from cities or councils. I identify as a Wadandi man. My motion tonight is I put forward the council objects to any renewable energies from the wind farms that's proposed in Geograph Bay. 4, if it does go ahead, it destroys Wadandi culture. The preservation of this culture is a must.
Can I suggest you stop there? Because that's captured the essence of it. The rest of it's a story.
We'll leave it simple for that.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder for that motion? There is a seconder. Please state your name and Trevor Overy, thank you. Okay, is there opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? The motion is carried. Thank you. Do we have any more questions from the gallery? Please come forward, Mr. Bussell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and staff and councillors. I speak basically in favour of what the last speakers have been talking about, which is to do with the wind towers in the ocean. So I would like to get to the bottom of things as far as the council is concerned and ask specifically, does our Busselton City Council at this stage have an official position on the federal Labor government's controversial proposal to construct huge banks of enormous ocean-based wind turbines extending across the entrance to iconic Geograph Bay and stretching northwards via Bunbury and Binningup to Dawesville near Mandurah. Can someone answer that question for me from the council, please? Because if the answer is yes, I would like to know what that position is.
Obviously, I can't speak on behalf of the council, but to give you some background information, the council has previously resolved to write on behalf of a sector of its community who requested it to write to ministers, and that was following a special electors meeting some time ago. So the city did write to a range of ministers expressing the concerns of that sector of our community, but the council itself has not adopted, as far as I'm aware, a formal position.
I thank you for that. So in the light of the response to my question, I would like to move the following motion myself on behalf of the electors of the City of Busselton. That the Busselton City Council, at their earliest possible opportunity following this 2026 electors meeting, conduct a poll of all councillors present, preferably at their next full council meeting. I'm not putting a date on it because it's preferably, to decide their official majority decision on the federal Labor government's controversial Southwest WA offshore marine wind turbine plans before it becomes too late for council to constructively impact the federal government's current proposals. That's the basic wording of my motion.
Just need a seconder for that. Michelle Shackleton. Is there any opposition? No opposition. I put the motion. All those.
Well, can I just say a few more words about in response to attract support? It is, in my view, imperative that council clearly establishes their position in this matter, so they can write to Prime Minister Albanese and his relevant ministers, advising them of council's position on this concerning proposal on behalf of the people of the City of Busselton. Council should stress the huge adverse environmental impacts this proposal would bring with it, along with the serious adverse effects on our boating and fishing fraternity, and even the hugely popular cruise ship visits to Busselton and Bunbury in particular. The Prime Minister and relevant ministers should be reminded that the City of Busselton is the most popular regional tourist destination in the whole of Western Australia. And this proposal would put that enviable position at a completely unacceptable risk. We don't want these wind turbines in our iconic southwest offshore waters, so please abandon your plans for this area. I would like to see this included in the contact to the federal government. And if you insist they are necessary, please take them somewhere else. We don't want them anywhere near us. Thank you.
Thank you. Put the motion then. All those in favour? Motion's carried. Thank you. Do we have any other more questions? Keep coming up.
Thank you for taking my questions. Neil Delroy, I'm a resident of West Busselton. Saltwater again, sorry. I'd just like to go through a few of the history of this for everyone's benefit. I mean, it was originally proposed in 2012 for 21 million. June 2020, it was revised to 29.4 million. September 21, it was revised to 38 million, and then there was a survey taken of residents and 34% voted for it and 53% voted against it. 1 month later, the council approved a tender, approved a budget for 44.55, so, you know, a massive increase within a month. Then there was a revision in November 2024 to 51.55 million. Additional borrowing in December 24 to 58 million. KPMG estimate January 26, 72 million. which of course included financing. Every project should include financing costs. I can't believe, I think Dr. Hunt said you don't normally include financing costs. Well, I look at a lot of projects in mining and elsewhere.
All righty, everybody. I do have
Seems unbelievable that you wouldn't
confirmation
include it.
from the
So
council meeting that
then
that is the end of the conversation. Wind turbines. Thank you very much for joining us this evening for this impromptu stream here in Western Australia in the city of Busselton in regards to the wind turbines. Thank you very much, Martine Shepherd, yes, love you very much too. Without the wonderful communication that I have with all of the wonderful people, just like Martine tonight, enabling me to report this to everybody around Australia, because of course the wind turbine, offshore, onshore, the solar farms is not isolated to Western Australia. It is across the whole country here in Australia. So a big shout out, a big thank you to Martine Shepherd for alerting all of us to what has gone on tonight in the city of Busselton in regards to the wind turbine situation. I think it's very telling. I'll just do a quick rundown because I've got to go and feed my family. It's the first day back at school and it's just crazy. Quick rundown. The beginning of the AGM in the city of Busselton, the mayor was very proud. Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate that. Hi, Marilyn. Well done. Yes, Martine's amazing. The mayor of the city of Busselton started to, the report and all the rest of the things, because it is the annual general meeting, talking about the numbers of tourists and all these sorts of things, and how it's a very important industry within the city of Busselton and that area down there. And just to go through the wonderful people who spoke, we had some wonderful, wonderful people who we weren't necessarily here to hear from, but we can see in the city of Busselton we have a real conglomeration of people who really care for the area in which they live. But anyway, I'll do the quick rundown. So, of course, Martine had her motion, of course, talking about national defence and navigation. As I said at the start of the stream, Megan Lapp came over here for the Wind Symposium with Senator Malcolm Roberts, Tyrone Whitten, and a number of other speakers. This is a real threat. And if you haven't been keeping up with news in America in regards to the offshore wind turbines, they've shut them down because it is national security business. It's a threat to national security. So, of course, part of Martine's speech was about national defence, navigation. Precautionary principles are being thrown out the window, right? And emergency response, when we're talking about, Australia is a nation that burns throughout summer, and that's not hyperbole. It's just a fact. It's hot down here and we do burn. I mean, that was one of the things that Martin was talking about, the emergency response. The radar for fire and sea also does save lives, and the offshore wind turbines do interfere, and there is much data to prove that, which has closed down the offshore turbines in the USA, which Martine was referring to the councils and presenting paperwork to communicate that fact. And council have electors within the council have been expressive within the council, have already said that they're totally against the offshore wind turbines in Geograph Bay and around that area, particularly in Busselton. The bit of the kerfuffle was, if anybody wants help with the workings of a council meeting, just reach out to me and I'll help you. And the problem that the CEO had, if I'm not mistaken, the grey-haired man which you can see he's right under the Australian flag. If I'm not mistaken, that is the CF, if I'm not. But anyway, he was the guy that had a bit of a problem with Martine's motion, because Martine said within 14 days, can you express this information to the following people? And of course, when you do go along to an AGM as an elector and you put a motion forward, the motion can be passed by the people in the gallery, which are the electors, which means then in turn, in the next council meeting, the councillors have to discuss that and then pass the motion. So that was the kerfuffle that the gentleman with the grey hair had. I'm sorry, I didn't have time to research his names and the other people's names. That was the kerfuffle, because the 14-day time requirement, which was part of the motion, is not possible. But then we also have Mason Jones, a wonderful person, coming forward. There was a bit of a kerfuffle there because he also was speaking to Martine's motion and also put forward his own motion. So there's a bit of kerfuffle there. But we did have a councillor, and I don't know who that was, and I'll find out from Martine who that councillor was after the kerfuffle, who said, hey, we can expedite this. And the avenue for doing that is doing a special electors meeting, and all the councillor needs, this is not electors, all the councillor needs is another 2 signatures, another 2 councillors to confirm we need to expedite this, get it another special electors meeting to push this through in the time that Martine wants. Within those 14 days, there are always avenues. And that was what Martine was saying. This is not something we need to sit around and just wait for the processes that are in place, which keep people locked behind processes. And so whoever that council was, I don't know who that was, but I'll catch up with Martine and find out who that was. Absolutely fantastic to say. I feel like I'm doing a tennis report. We've got the tennis going on, absolutely fantastic to see that. And then we have the following gentleman talking about, does the council have a position on the turbines? And of course the answer was no. And so his motion was, well, of course the CEO is going to instruct you, just inserting that. But of course, we want to see what is the position of the Busselton Council. So absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely wonderful, fantabulous, yes, it's the word, I've coined it, to see people involving themselves in the democracy we still have. I know people have problems with councils, but when we can insert ourselves, we have to take advantage of this. And I commend Martine Shepherd, I commend Mason. Absolutely fantastic to see people getting in there, right in there at the last minute. And you know what? The people that spoke this evening in regards to offshore wind turbines have a wealth of knowledge, and I'm just going to say it up front, the councillors have no idea. And if they had 2 cents or 1 sandwich or a biscuit in a bale, they would listen to Martine, and they would listen to Mason, and they would also listen to Narelle, who seconded Martine's motion. Thank you very much for joining me in this impromptu feed, and once again, this is a great privilege for me. I'm going to stop screening the share because this is what truly independent media is about. I am 100% crowdfunded, so I stay 100% independent, and it's only because of wonderful people like Martine Shepherd and Mason who come together, and we all get together and we can present this to you. And the last little chips of democracy, where we can involve ourselves, we can all witness, we can all be involved in, because there is a great dismantling of democracy. Big cheers to Martine and Greg, and big cheers to everybody in the comments. I appreciate you so much. Martine, you are the best woman as well. I love you so much. And make sure you all stay relentless, because you know what? It's worth it. This is a beautiful country, beautiful people, beautiful environment, and our children deserve to live in a most beautiful, beautiful country that we lived in before. All right, see everyone. Thanks, Martine. I love you so much.
Relentless in our fields, we hunt the hidden flaw. Masters of the craft, we shatter systems' walls. Relentless.